On the lookout for a couple of speakers that should be with us, Dr. Faris Al-Malki and Dr. Abdulaziz Al-Suwailim. They may think that the panel's at 5:30, but actually it's about to start. So hopefully we can track them down and get them over in a minute. Do you have the phone numbers for these? Because these two aren't here. Did anybody let them know we were running late?
Yes.
Because that guy didn't know.
Okay.
So nobody's told them they're running late.
Yes, okay. I will tell him to announce in Arabic about starting the session.
Yeah, but I need the speakers to start the session. I saw him eating chocolate. Yeah.
Maybe we have maximum 35 minutes, everyone each. You can speak of 5 or 7 minutes, right?
Yeah, basically.
By area, especially. Explain what's happening in our country. Right?
Well, I have
Eh, sakit lang naman ano yan eh.
Got anything
Huh?
about the question?
Nobody sent it to you.
Talagang ano, pagkabuhay mo pa lang, patay agad.
Explain that new technology.
Okay, so first of all, what I do is introduce you. Yeah. I'll just say, can you tell me your name, where
Tatanggalin
you're
yun.
from, and what you do? And that's our 30
Yun lang
seconds.
naman ang gagamitan yan eh.
Then your first question, Luca, is how are recent advancements in AI transforming the autonomous navigation
Kasi nagkakaproblema to,
and real-time decision-making capabilities?
sa parida ko daw.
And then I've got,
Sige.
you know what? If you tell me to start switching questions, I'm going to get all messed up. Well, his question is, what should we understand by autonomous navigation? And real-time decision-making. So it's the same. So I tell you what. Okay, so what I'll do, has anybody got a pen on them? No. I'll switch those around and then ask, do you have anything to add to what he said? How about that?
No problem.
So his question is your one. How are recent advancements in AI transforming autonomous navigation and real-time decision-making in complex environments? I don't know what a complex environment is. I suppose... and then I'll say to you, I found one. Look, I've done my arrows, so. Oh. Well, they will probably be not told that the panels have been switched.
I told them, my prime minister said, a few hours ago. I didn't know that where
Oh.
I just got a message.
Oh, okay.
We're actually doing planning the prime minister. Oh, it's today. What time? I'm doing. So I didn't prepare. He gave me anything. He didn't send me any questions. How come? Okay, don't worry. I can manage.
How was the presentation?
Yes. It's okay. No problem.
Nobody told you. Oh.
A few hours ago. I'm told.
So you didn't know? Because I asked last week for all the emails of all the people that were speaking, the panelists, so I could send them the questions. I still haven't received them. So I don't know. I think sometimes organisations they try and do everything without not much help, and then Welcome to SADC 2025. We will be starting the first panel in a couple of minutes. We're just trying to track down a couple of our speakers. They seem to be lost somewhere in the show. They should be with us in a minute. Not yet, no. The first session is called The Latest Advancements in Drone Technology, the impact of artificial intelligence on enhancing drone autonomy, decision-making, and data analysis. We should be starting in a couple of minutes, just trying to track down two of our speakers. They should be with us in a minute. They're somewhere in the show and should start quite soon, so please be patient. This gentleman in front here is smiling at me because this is the third time he's heard this announcement, so he's probably thinking, I don't believe you anymore. No, we will be starting soon, so please bear with us, okay?
Not coming. The first one I called him, but he said he's not coming today. He has, and the second one he is not answering. So we have to start.
Are we going? Okay. Can I have the Arabic guy do the announcement, please? I've just been told that the two speakers that I'm looking for are not going to be joining us. So the whole stage goes to Dr. Kwon and Luca and myself. So we will be starting in a minute. Thank you very much for joining us. What I like to do at the beginning of a panel is ask the speakers to introduce themselves, where you're from, and what you do in the drone industry. So, Dr. Kwon, if you could start, please.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me. It's a great opportunity to give a speech on my area. It's an AI drone, so it could be very popular in near future. So that I'm from South Korea. I'm a professor and doctor. Korea, the national agency in Korea. So I would like to say thank you and all of us that will express my new area, AI. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I would like to first thank SADC for organizing another great event this year. We're always excited to come back and meet industry leaders and experts, so this is a fantastic venue for us to be in. My name is Luca Passone. I'm originally from Italy. I'm the CTO of FalconVis, one of the co-founders, Chief Technology Officer and General Manager. And the company specializes in asset digitization using a variety of different techniques, drones being one of the primary ways we capture data.
Thank you, Luca. I'm going to start with Dr. Kwon. We kind of had a discussion about the questions earlier, so I'm going to pass the first one to you about recent advancements in AI to transform autonomous navigation. Let's start with that first, and then we can move on to some other areas.
All right, thank you. I can say that, or think about that back in 10 years, nobody knows how the drones are working, like the function of the AI. The thankful that the new technology of that deep learning, so which is will be learn kind of the new knowledges and stock by every time the learning itself. Then we let the drones know that how to fly, how to just maintain the kind of the knowledge together. That's why that after that, the stock of data will be, using the AI with that function, the finding the autonomous navigation. So that we have the another additional device. We have that the vision system. The vision system knows that the 3D, the map of real data from it. You get it? So that we can actually know that whole data of the navigator, the maps. Only where they needed the places, the AI can accumulate all the data and then know it and use it. Then they just find it become smarter and smarter. So that this time, I might say the new technologies are not the large language model. We say that small language model should be very, very useful. Because we are flying drone, not only one drones, also we can also many drones, instantly. So we can get more data from one drones, but many drones can gather more different view of the data. So we can use more accurate data to that flying, that autonomous area. We call it that. Later on, we are Saudi Arabia, the other countries, it's a new trend of making, the drone taxi. So it should be delivering something, but maybe in the future they deliver the people, someone who is in danger, kind of things. Then we have that small language data model AI should be the useful for making that autonomous drones.
Luke, have you got anything to add to that, and maybe some examples that you're working on or seen in Saudi Arabia?
Absolutely. So as AI models have become far more advanced in recent years and edge compute has increased dramatically, there's lots of applications that we can see now that can run on the drones autonomously, and this can save a lot of data. We can think about in some of the royal reserves, for example, where drones may be deployed in very remote areas. It's impractical to send data back to a central processing hub. Instead, we want to do compute on the edge and only send back important information. So in this case, we're reducing the amount of data that needs to be processed, the amount of data that needs to be transmitted, and optimizing costs and resources. Other places where we're seeing adoption is we've done some, for example, proof of concepts for drone delivery. Now, when a drone is doing delivery and needs to land, for example, on site, there might be all kinds of obstacles, from a cat to a plastic bag. So having the decision-making process being done on a drone, and this is just one example of giving drones autonomy to make decisions, to come up with good solutions. And then, of course, there is the asset digitization, which is our core. For a long time, we had to train pilots very diligently when it came, for example, to mobile phone tower inspection. Now, with Skydio and the latest advances, even from DJI, they just came up with this recently, you can just draw a bounding box around the asset that you want to scan, and the drone automatically figures out the best orientations, the best route, avoids any obstacles. So now you're reducing the amount it takes, or the amount of time and money it takes to get a drone pilot trained up to be able to do such complicated tasks and such high-risk tasks.
So those data sets that you're creating in real time, those are saved for later use, so you can generate other types of activity through the drone. Is that correct?
Yeah, that we do that the deep learning by sending the data to the upload in the cloud, then get the result. But now we have very new type of technology. So we make it a small AI device, on chip. Okay, say the chip on device, right? So Korea is very developed, making the AI device. We call it edge computing. So there the certain area, the application area, we make all this AI data, put in one small chip. The huge amount of data can be calculated, analyzed. So what we are going to do use that one. We use small chip to put in a drone. The drone will be converted, the changes, very smart AI drones. That's the new technology.
right now in Korea.
So, Luca, on that kind of border that frame that you create, what about the topography, mountains and valleys and things like that? How does that affect the autonomy? Is there any effect or impact on that at all?
So topography usually, for most part, we can plan ahead. Fortunately, there is not too much AI that goes into that, but if there are complex buildings, complex structures, a stadium or something like this, we can use AI to optimize the mission path that the drone needs to take in order to collect only the right amount of pictures. Before, we used to, in quotes, brute force. We used to just fly in all directions and try to collect as much data and hope that we have everything before we head back to the office and process. And you know, this might take a week. Now, with these advancements, we know that the drone has captured the right amount of data. And this can be done autonomously and in a much faster manner than before. So luckily, topography is not a big deal. There's quite a bit here in Saudi in some of the areas that are becoming more and more interesting for the Saudi development and the Vision 2030 projects. But this is handled in a slightly different way.
Okay, I've got it. Doctor, what are the most complex environments that you've tested this generative AI technology in terms of drones? When you say complex environment, what do we mean by that? I mean, a cornfield probably is a simple environment.
Yeah. So I can say that, so one of the application areas we use the AI drone is that the finding missing the people in the rainforest, big areas, So only drone can fly, the 30 minutes maximum, can fly up to 5 kilometers away. So one drone can played by one person. But now there's a swarm drone one person, maximum 10,000 drone can fly at the one time. So it means you can cover 4 areas of finding missing people one person. So disaster areas, no need to run the whole areas. You can fly as many as drones or emergency situation. Then drone can find someone who is in danger, or they can don't need to just actually that difficult, very complex AI situation. Only just a matter of that how many drones can working together. I might say that collaboration together. So that something that the swarm drones can be easily changed, the very dangerous machines, right? There's like a military areas, bombing the areas. Maybe the civilian areas is a good way of tools. They're using AI together drone. It means the AI, the edge computing. You don't need to actually that a lot of the complex the calculation needed. I might say that.
Okay, great. I'm just thinking about my mobile phone always runs out of battery. What's the battery life with the new generation of drones? I mean, obviously it's a concern that the more data it's processing, the more images it looks at, battery life does become a concern, does it not, Luca?
So when we're talking, for example, multi-rotors, the amount of power that the AI consumes compared to the motors, it's minimal. It doesn't really have a big impact. Back, if I can think a couple of generations back, when we used to install a small computer on top, like a manifold 2 on top of M300, for example, you might see maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but actually the biggest difference is the weight of the computer that you put on the top. If you're putting maybe 400 or 500 grams of computer on top, where most of it is actually heat sink, that's actually what's impacting more than maybe the 30 watts, 40 watts that the computer might draw. They've become extremely efficient. We're not putting a 5090 on one of the drones that consumes 300-400 watts. it's minimal, and the drones have become much more efficient. You know, when we first scanned Al-Balad in, I don't know, 2011, the drone was flying for 6 minutes and carrying maybe a 500-gram camera. That's laughable nowadays. We carry, you know, kilograms for almost 1 hour in a multi-rotor and multiple hours in VTOLs. So small processing, I would say this is not the biggest barrier. It's not something that you would consider, should I put it or should I not put it?
Okay, thank you. Dr. Kwon, in terms of the breakthroughs in AI computing and data analytics, where are we today, and what have we got coming up in the future in terms of data analysis?
Yeah, and in AI, drones consumes a lot of the battery power when using that, calculating the data from the camera, but that is not that difficult to understand with comparing that battery time. But now they use that hardware chip inside together, then they consume the as little as the battery power. So that in terms of the data calculation, you know, comparing the battery time, it means the more we get the data calculation, we get more the analyze the data as much as we can. So that in the near future, he mentioned that about new technology of battery time, and then AI chip the battery consuming, comparing that. So that if you use the small language model, we can use a longer calculation, and many data we can do that analyzing as well. That's why I'm thinking that in the future, the next stage, we use hardware, not only that quadcopter drones, that with using the VTOL devices, maybe 2 hours flying, then we can get more data from that device, and then do that a lot of deep learning together. It means that one drone can cover that, not that complex data analyzing. There's not that the difficult function in the areas. Not that much complexity.
Luca, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I love this question. So Falcon Vis is a little over 10 years old now, so we've been, you know, flying drones for quite a while. And I consider that we've gone through kind of a few stages when it came to drones. At the beginning, you know, just getting a picture or a video was a big deal. You know, we were just collecting images. Then we moved into a phase where we were analyzing this data, not analyzing it, but computing on top of it. This is when we started producing 3D models, topographical maps, and, you know, these were the great deliverables that the client wanted. Then, you know, they wanted to get some insights. So, you know, we started analyzing this data, and we would build like web interfaces or virtual reality or augmented reality so they could interact with it in ways that made sense for them. Now this is moving. They want actionable insight. They want to be able to talk to the data like an LLM. They want to be able to not have to tell you in advance all the kind of queries or information they want to extract, but for you to provide them a platform where they can go in and just type and get, you know, how many buildings above 3 levels are in a terrible state or need restoration or renovation. So we have moved from through different stages, and now almost every project we get asked to do requires some kind of AI analysis, whether it's counting trees, whether it's finding the state of the trees or removing some items from the maps. So we have now reached a point where it's almost one of the deliverables in every project. So it's, and this is how our company has also shifted. This is why we're an asset digitization company. We're not a data collection or a drone company anymore, because that's easy now. So the challenge is later providing all this huge, vast amount of information. Now we're talking terabytes per project in a way that, you know, a client with a small laptop can still open it and make use of it. That's the challenge.
Okay, so I think we've run out of time. I know it's a bit shorter than you were asked to be on stage, but we are running late, so we're going to draw to a close. But before we do, just one very quick question from each of you. Doctor, where do you see the main business opportunities for drones in Saudi Arabia? I don't know how long you've been here or what you know about Saudi, but same to Luca, where do you see the main business opportunities for our audience sat out there?
So in FalconVis, we've identified two main streams. Both of them are in line with Vision 2030, of course. I think if anybody here wants to start working on a new project, needs to first look at Vision 2030, because that's where the kingdom is investing, that's where the money is flowing. So step one would be this. For us, the two places where we looked was in agriculture industry. So we launched a new product called Garza. This allows us to track and monitor plants through many of the Saudi Green Initiative projects. Saudi is planning to plant millions of trees, and we've developed a platform to monitor those. And the other one is StockVis, which allows monitoring and reporting and everything that goes with the legal part of mines and stockpile management. So these are the two that we thought, you know, there's real value. Of course, there's AI in them. Of course, there is drones, there is vision, there is mission, there is many things that go on. And this kind of we have this advantage that we've been here a while, and we can see the kind of requests and things that come through. But those aside, yeah, look at Vision 2030. You know the kingdom is going to spend money in these initiatives and trying to find some niche there that you could work on and flourish.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to have to cut it short, Doctor, sorry. I think we've been told to time up by the organizer. But could I just ask you to stand up here up front? I know you've got a photographer who's going to do a quick photograph for us. And thank you very much. And please give them a round of applause for sharing their expertise with us today. There's the photographer there. Sorry about the late start. Okay, thank you very much. And we're going to move on very quickly. Oh, there they all are. Wow. Hi, Yvonne. Do you want to get your panel up with you, please? Let's all start. I have somebody changing the nameplates. If you could just sit next to your name, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. You sit here, Yvonne, please. Here, okay. And then, yeah, okay. Everybody's got their spot. Yes. Good. I need my notes. Say hello. Thank you very much to our last panel. Our next panel is how to unlock the potential of the low-altitude economy for the kingdom. So what do we mean by the low-altitude economy? Anything under 1,000 meters, correct? That's what I learned yesterday from these guys. And has it gained traction in the last 18 months? So we will find this out today. We're going to be exploring the low-altitude economy, its potential for Saudi Arabia. We're also going to explore the advanced air mobility industry, which is all about that low altitude economy. And today we have a very interesting panel made up of the industry value chain, from the airports, if you want to call them that, all the way through to the unmanned copters and to government agencies who are enabling this new digital development in Saudi Arabia. So I'll take my seat, and we're going to go first to the Ministry of Investment. But what I'd like to do, before we do our first question, I'm going to start with Yvonne, ladies first, and if you give us a brief 15 to 20 seconds, who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Okay, now it's working. Sorry. Hello, everyone. My name is Yvonne Winter. I am CEO and co-founder of Fly Now Aviation, and I am CEO of Fly Now Arabia, based here in Riyadh, and as well the president of the Sky Alliance for Automated Air Mobility, an international non-profit organization tackling the issues of how to make AAM possible, together with Corbin Hoover over there from Skyroads. And I'm really happy to be here. Originally, I grew up in Germany, in a typical German SME. I am entrepreneur by heart. And yeah, now I'm here after 25 years in C-level positions and want to really contribute to Vision 2030 in bringing a new means of transport and being part of this exciting journey. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Samer Al-Ja'bari. I'm the Executive Chief Advisor for the National Industrial Development Center, responsible for the aerospace sector. We fall under the umbrella of the Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources. I bring in 33 plus, I stopped counting after 30, years of experience in the aerospace sector. Most of it was in the United States. Half of it was actually with General Electric. I have 6 patents to my name, worked heavily in the advanced R&D, and towards the middle of my career actually started to specialize on gas turbine engines. I joined the National Industrial Development Center, NIDC, about 6 years ago, in charge of executing and activating the National Industrial Strategy, which aims to target things like the advanced air mobility and the localization in the kingdom towards Vision 2030.
Good evening. Thank you, James, for this introduction. My name is Abdulaziz Al-Ghazwani. I'm the Aerospace Director at the Ministry of Investment, working under the leadership of His Excellency Minister of Investment, Al-Falih. Our role is to attract investments, foreign direct investments toward the kingdom, and enable the journey from beginning until they set up the business in KSA. I can see familiar faces here, and hopefully we can share something fruitful and helpful for you. And it's great to be among these great panelists, and also in front of the great audience. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Corbin Huber. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Skyroads. First of all, thank you very much, James, for putting this together for us. I'm also very happy to be a member of this panel, because I think we're going to leave you with some pretty exciting ideas tonight. My company is specialized in building the digital backbone for future advanced air mobility. We call it the Air Management Platform. And I'm going to be sharing some ideas of how we can orchestrate air traffic with automated air mobility. But we're all, as James has said, we're part of a bigger ecosystem, so I'm going to pass this on to my friend over here who is working on the ground infrastructure.
Thank you, Corvin. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Trotter. I'm the Managing Director of Unified Aviation. My background is helicopters. Came to the region 21 years ago. Operated oil and gas, offshore and onshore corporate transfers and tourism. So I've been flying in this region for quite some time. My company specializes in the vertiport infrastructure, and in particular we've developed a modular landing system that we're working with our partners to develop and work here.
Excellent. Abdulaziz, I'm going to start with you, and some use cases looking to generate excuse me, likely early adoption of this kind of drone technology that we're talking about. So low-flying copters like Yvonne's doing, drones in general. And when we say use cases, also maybe a comment about the localization and the partnerships that you're creating as well.
Clear. I believe there are some pillars that need to be met in order to see if one case is applicable for the low altitude economy. One pillar is to have a sparse area, I would say within 100 kilometers if you have different places you want to go. Then if you need the speed to go to that place or different places, and if you want to save cost. Once these pillars are met in any case, you can say it's applicable for the low altitude economy. But for early adoption, I would say cargo is a key case for early adoption, because you want to have a low altitude technology that transfer, for example, from onshore cargo and take it to the mountains. This is a clear case that you need to apply for that. And also organ transport, as well as rescue, search and rescue. Also, you can have an oil and gas industry where you want to transfer critical equipment, for example, from the land to the rigs. This is a critical part that you need to apply. Once you reach the early adoption, you can start with the passenger part. And then you can apply for the tourism, for example, Neom, Al-Ola, Red Sea, etc. And what we justify to be this kind of industry to be an economy, it's because of spillover effect. Because once you have this kind of industry in the kingdom, you will have training for human capital, you will have vertiports that is required, you need to have a digital infrastructure to be applied. This will create a GDP and contribution, and also job creation, which will create a great economy to be applied.
Dr. Samad, in terms of industrial development, we've talked about the pillars just a second ago. Where do you see, in terms of the AAM, where do you see this going first? Where do you think we're going to get that critical mass to lower costs so that we can start seeing a trajectory of adoption through different industries?
Actually, that's a good question. Today, I see a stream of investors coming in with different ideas, different products. We do recognize some of the challenges that exist today for the advanced air mobility. And that lies in not only the technology itself, but the certifiability of the technology. So no entity right now exists today that has that capability or ability or have reached that point. So it forms a roadblock. However, there's a lot of learning that happens with a lot of the new investors or the technology providers, I call them sometimes. The other one, as my colleague mentioned, the availability of infrastructure. How is it going to be built? That's a massive undertaking. And the other piece of it is actually the financials. A lot of investors are kind of weary about investing sometimes because this is a completely new economy, completely new technology, not mature like investing in a helicopter, new helicopter design or a new aircraft design. So there are a lot of unknowns and a bit of a dark tunnel but there's a little bit of a light at the end of that tunnel that we're hoping it will happen. Based on the sum of my engagement with investors coming from China, Europe, the US, from across the globe, I really can see that by 2030 to 2035 period, that the trajectory starts to go up. There's a lot of learning that happens. There are a few companies that might have fallen off the tree now, and I think everybody knows about them. But that's because of the heavy investments that were required and the technology adoption requirements. So eventually, I think, in my personal opinion, 2030 to 2035 is the period where you start to see that trajectory.
Excellent, thank you. And Yvonne, over to you. To repeat the success of the automotive economy in the air. I mean, this is what you're trying to do with your company, right? It's kind of a luxury item, isn't it? I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong, but what does the vehicle look like? What does it enable? What's the utility of what you're doing?
That's actually as well a great question, and the automotive industry is so successful, and if you look at the world, all the industry nations have a strong automotive industry. The basis of that were created with Ford coming up with the Model T, introducing mass manufacturing. That is as well why China will be as well on the forefront of the AAM industry, but maybe as well the kingdom. What we are doing is, so we are the first OEM in history that focuses on mass manufacturing by applying automotive production methods in the aviation industry. And this allows us to go into the scale of economy. As well, we came up with a modular system, a firefighting solution, a cargo solution, a passenger solution, a rescue variant, so applicable for many different use cases. And our configuration is more a helicopter, so you can see over here the rotor blades. So visit our booth and have a seat in our e-copter. It is more or less combining the helicopter with a new drivetrain. It's a tilting head mechanism, purely electrified, so we can get rid of the swash blade adjustment. And therefore, it's a very efficient, light, simple configuration that is easy to maintain, easy to manufacture, and we aim to produce in a couple of years, certainly, 30,000 units of these e-copters and really create a revolution in the sky.
I'm going to ask a question because the way you manufacture these items or these units, is that a autonomous solution as well, like we see car manufacturing today? Is it hand done? How do you make these things?
No, absolutely. So we have tier 1 suppliers from the automotive industry who has a license to produce aero parts. And then in a very artificial and advanced assembly line, we will manufacture these e-copters.
Okay, great. I'm going to move over to Corvin Huber now on the digital side of things, about how the backbone works. What kind of digital infrastructure is needed for something like Yvonne's product, Corvin?
Obviously, another great question. I mean, you're good at it.
Yeah, switch to the handheld.
1, 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's look a little bit at what has made aviation as safe as it is. In today's aviation, you have a number of different systems collaborating to create an overall safety architecture. There are safe aircraft. There are pilots who have been trained to fly these safe aircraft safely. You have air traffic control who advise aircraft, who plan traffic, who tell them where to go, who actually monitor what they do. You have maintenance systems. So you have a plethora, you have a big number of different entities that combine to a safe overall operation. Now, if we want to fly a large number of these aircraft in the future, we need to find a way to automate that system, because human perception, the human is not able to work at the frequency levels that we will need in order to make what Yvonne is building successful. So in other words, we need to combine those different factors, those different systems that we know today, into a fully automated digital system that is able to guide aircraft, to monitor their performance, to manage contingencies in a unified command system that has a permanently revolving and updated master plan for the operation in a given area. My company is actually designing this digital platform, the air management platform, that takes care of the different elements, combines them without the human element, and makes and creates a safe overall system that, by the way, produces the same level of autonomy for the end user that we have gotten used to. And I'd like to kind of reiterate what we've heard just now. One of the reasons that the automotive industry was successful is because it is individualized transport. Now, we need metro systems as mass transport. But what has made the automotive industry successful is that the individual user is quote-unquote autonomous in deciding when he wants to go from where to where. Advanced air mobility is going to be successful if we mimic this ability to individualize transport. And the vehicle that Yvonne is presenting, based on the system that we are using, will create exactly that autonomy. And we are very excited to use the opportunity here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to implement that for the first time. Having said that, we are part of an entire ecosystem. There are other players that will be required, and Mark obviously will speak to that.
Can I just press the point on the, you know, the autonomous ground systems? So we see them testing autonomous taxis in California now. Is that kind of similar to what you're doing? Is that same kind of digital backbone, is that being used?
Excellent point. Let's clarify that. To me, the word autonomy means user autonomy. It's the ability of the user to say when and where he wants to go. We have come to think that autonomy is a vehicle feature. Because we are building smart cars who can make their own decisions on whether they want to turn left or right and have their own sensors telling them, you can't do this because there's a child playing in the road. We believe that we need to change the paradigm on that in aviation. We need to mimic the successful safety system in aviation and have what we call unified command. There needs to be a central, completely deconflicted, as we call it, image of traffic permanently updated, telling vehicles where they can go, where they need to go. This again, although it is unified central command, does not preclude autonomy, because the end user can still say, I want to go here. And even in the middle of the flight, he can say, I want to change my plan. So the user autonomy remains the same. But we all understand that the sensors that we need on aircraft to make aircraft smart, as we call it in the automotive industry, will be so expensive that the system will never scale. So we need a different approach to managing traffic. And this unified command system is exactly what my company is developing, has implemented in a prototype, is operating on a German commercial airfield, and we're making it available to all the aircraft designers who want to fly their aircraft in this kind of autonomy providing system.
So when you say autonomous, are you referring to automatic flights? We have someone controlling the aircraft from a central command?
At this point, we prefer the word automation over autonomy, because it reflects technically what we're doing. We're automating the decision mechanisms that need to go into it. The effect for the end user will be autonomy. So it's autonomy through automation if you want.
I'm really happy you asked that question, because I like it when the panel gets their teeth into it, you know, it's less formal. Yeah. Mark, let's talk about the landing and takeoff infrastructure, which obviously we need. Do you need big footprints? I mean, just tell us a bit about your drone ports.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the vertiport, or the infrastructure part of it, is obviously part of the ecosystem, and an essential part. So without the vehicles, without the airways and systems, you know, we don't have a system, but also the vertiports or heliports of today, they are the places where you land. So like an airport, we have to have that. The key thing is, I think they're going to be in the future basically a transportation integration location. So it's going to be the integration of the different transportation modes. But if you break a vertiport into two areas, one, the landing platform itself needs to be enabled with the technology. So it needs to have the integration for automated flight. And the second part is the facilitation, so the lounge or the passenger handling. So for air mobility to be successful in the future, both of those parts to it have to work very well. So the automation needs to talk to the airway systems, needs to talk to the vehicle, and that needs to allow fast turnarounds, fast facilitation, charging, all the standard things you need. On the passenger side, it has to work quickly as well, because there's no point taking an air taxi if you need to check in 30 minutes before for a 10-minute flight. So the whole system has to focus on the passenger journey. I get on at A and I'm going to B, and that the whole system has to use technology to the best facility. So automated check-ins, you need to have very fast passenger screening, and then you get on your flight and you travel automated. And you know, we can see a future where there's going to be thousands of flights a day, and the trick is to make that ecosystem very focused on facilitation, but it also has to be safe. And so safety is a big part of. So what we're trying to do with our system is be a platform that is modular. It can be future-proofed, so we can have future integrations with companies like FlyNow. We're working to integrate the systems, but also enables that growth as the technology evolves.
So those drone ports or copter ports, will they also be able to host things like rescue units? And what happens with the charging? Do you have to charge it, or is there a battery you take out and put the new one in? How does that work?
So absolutely. I mean, a proper vertiport, obviously be scaled depending on the size. So you have some massive vertiports, you'll have small ones. So like airports, basically. Very similar analogy, your large airports to smaller airports. And yes, every type of unit should be able to use it. They should be able to open integration. And yeah, charging will happen as soon as you land. And so the concept right now is that as soon as they land, in our system we have hatches that open, charging cables go straight into the wings, and they start charging almost immediately.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to tackle a second topic, and again, we'll just go through the same order if you don't mind. We're going to be talking about the ecosystem for this low-fly economy. And Abdulaziz, with the Ministry of Investment, what are you doing to position the Kingdom as a regional hub for this digital technology, as a leader, as we see in other areas in Saudi?
Thank you, James. This is actually a great question to clarify to the audience what we have done and what we are doing and what we are expecting to do in the future. I will take it in terms first of regulatory aspect. So even if we are fairly young ministry, but with the deep track, but we are focusing on reforms on the regulatory aspects to streamline the experience of the investors, to attract more investors and key players like the gentleman what we have here. And since we started the reforms, we did over 700 reforms, which resulted in streamlining the experience. And we are allowing 100% ownership, which really unlocked huge investments that came to Saudi. And speaking of that, I would like to congrats to Yvonne for achieving a key milestone in her investment journey in KSA. The other aspect is the enablement. We want to enable the investor starting from the beginning of their journey until they set up their business in KSA, and also after they set up their journey in KSA. One of the enablements is support and connecting and demand signaling from the key players or the key buyers from in KSA, and also offering sort of enablements or incentives if it per se, custom duty, tax holidays, utility rebates, and also financial incentives might be also offered by the team here from NIDC. They can talk about it more, but it's a standardized incentives framework that is as a whole of government framework that aims to support the industry. Also, we are partnering with the Ministry of Transport as well as GACA for the sandbox, because as you are aware, AAM is an industry that nobody has a model or a role model to follow. Everyone is trying their best to accommodate what are the best practices to achieve the safety. So we are doing the sandbox to identify what are the areas that we can offer and we can do for the regulatory aspects in KSA. And it's good to have this ecosystem in KSA, for example, the OEMs like Fly Now, and also the digital infrastructure like Skyroads, and also the vertiports like Unified Aviation, as well as the financial institutions, venture capital. They need to tap in this industry to enable this industry to grow in KSA and outside KSA.
Thank you. And Dr. Samad, could you give us the NIDC's point of view, because you were put on the block by your colleague next to you. So
Well,
how are you enabling?
Actually, we're an extension of each other. We complement our efforts, because while they make, I call it the land fertile for investments in the kingdom, we focus more on actual plants, the seeds that we're trying to plant in here. So for us, we look at the manufacturing aspect of it, and when we work together collectively in attracting specific investments, we want to see everybody in here and even in the I mean outside, in terms of coming and invested in the kingdom. So I'm losing my train of thoughts here. Sorry. One of the things we do, actually, we have today what we call SIP, which is the Standard Incentive Package. So the ministry offers that. There is today a 50 million riyal available, and it's open actually on our platform. That's available for investors. It's a grant up to 50 million riyals, which is about $13 million. Anybody can apply for it and take advantage of that. Of course, that is one of the things we do. In addition to that, there is a program within the ministry that actually covers and pays for training engineers. So we want the guys to go out, get trained, come back, and have a job. So at the end of the day, you want to build the ecosystem and not just a specific product manufactured. And you want to have it sustainable. So it's not about just me doing something today. It has to be sustainable for the long term. In order to actually organize things, we have 3 streams we look at it. So in one stream, we categorize it, which is the small drones, as you see outside in here. The second one is more of the mid-size, which is similar to what Fly Now and Yuvon has. And it has a compact structure. It has certain applications. And then the third stream, which is more of what we call in the industry air taxis. So today we're tackling all of those angles to cover the whole entire spectrum of the possibilities for advanced air mobility in the kingdom. And we are seeing some success stories.
One question in terms of capability for the future of young Saudis getting into the game. Are you working with the aviation college at the airport, or are you thinking on the educational piece as well?
We're working with everybody actually in the kingdom. Yes, we are. But the capacity of what we have today is very limited. And in terms of what kind of training is offered, also limited. Our objective is really, so I'm going to take an example. So let's say Yvonne now have taken the path of localizing, and she's been working with us actually on the whole localization plan, building facilities in the kingdom, etc. So one part of the training is to get, I don't want to call it on-job training, but we would send Saudi guys paid by the ministry to go to Salzburg, sit with the experts, learn how things work, get their hands dirty, basically. So there's a big difference between what we've done traditionally is what I call it academic training. So you go sit in a classroom, you learn the basics, go home, and that's it. No, the requirements is to go, get your hands dirty, learn, come back and get a job. It's actually going to be tied to a job, promise.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, Yvonne, so just on that training thing, who's going to operate the vehicles? I mean, we talked about the training slightly. Give us a bit more about that, because you're investing now. So what's happening at the moment on who's flying the vehicles? Who's doing that work?
First of all, I want to say thank you to Dr. Sama, because he was very hard on me, but it was very helpful. So just a small anecdote, 2.5 years ago when I first came to his office and showed the concept and so forth, he said, oh, this is really brilliant, this is nice, we need it here in the kingdom, but how do you want to operate it? And I said, well, we do have partner companies like Skyroads, Unified Aviation, etc. And he said, well, but you don't expect me to work with 8 different companies here, right? And I said, oh, I do have an issue. And this was the reason why we founded the Sky Alliance for Automated Air Mobility, because we recognized that we can only go together with an ecosystem. So thank you very much for all the help and for all the pushes that I received. And thank you very much as well to Misa for all the great support and for all the help that Abdulaziz has given me. And as well, I came in through the, and you referred to training through KAUST, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, through a Destination Deep Tech program. And this brought me into the ecosystem, and now we work with KAUST, with KAXT, with Prince Sultan University. We work with the Ministry of Interior for the firefighting solution. We work with MISA, we work with MIM, of course, very intensely, with Cluster 2, with many different entities here. Saudi Aviation Club is really supportive, and I'm so grateful to be here at SADEX, and Fahad Al-Katani is doing amazing to make this happen, drones here in the kingdom. And yeah, it takes a whole ecosystem, and only in the collaboration together with Corbin and as well the other partners, we can make this happen. And yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to cut the panel short in a minute. We have 1 minute each for Corvin and Mark. Corvin, who else needs to be part of this ecosystem? It's nearly prayer time, so it's got to be quick.
Right. So we've heard a number of kind of elements that need to be present to make this whole thing work. This is also about economic opportunity, as you said yourself. So there are a whole array of services that need to be pulled into this ecosystem. One person or one type that we haven't talked about at all is the operator. So at the end of the day, there needs to be the bus company or the aviation company who actually runs Yvonne's vehicles and uses my system in order to go from A to B. We're firmly convinced that this operator needs to come from here. He needs to be a local who knows the system, the requirements, and can sell his services to the local users. I know that Mark will talk also about some downstream operators, but there is a whole array of economic opportunities surrounding this.
And Mark, if you could just tell us about the downstream partners very quickly, please.
Yeah, so very quickly, from a vertiport perspective, I mean, we're changing the world, really, and we're going from maybe a dozen helipads in Riyadh to hundreds. So it really requires the vision, which I think the Kingdom has already, Vision 2030, and going forward into the future. And then it requires the support of the government agencies, which these guys are here already doing. But we need to drive that vision forward and look at starting to implement and starting to grow the locations so that the vehicles can have somewhere to land.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Doctor, yes.
One last statement. We're all in this journey collectively, from an investor to the government to the technical partners. We're going through the teething pains, I call it, and there are a lot of lessons learned. So that is, it's been a wonderful journey, and it continues to be.
Watch the space, huh?
Yes.
Okay, great. Please give our panel a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. Could you come to the front for a photograph, please?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السيدات والسادة الكرام، ندعوكم مرة أخرى إلى حضور هذه المحاضرة وورقة العمل والمشاركة البحثية التي يتفضل بإلقائها أمامكم المهندس سليمان الوليعي، وهو المستشار الأول في شركة أرامكو السعودية، يقدم عرض حول تطور تقنيات الدرون في المملكة العربية السعودية، وأيضا دفع عجلة الابتكار والتحول الاقتصادي. تفضل مهندس، حياك الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله، مساكم الله بالخير جميعا. My name is Sulaiman Wali'i from Saudi Aramco. It's really give me a great pleasure to join you today and talk about the evolution of drone technology in Saudi Arabia, driving innovation and economic transformation. As you all know, drone technology has transformed so many sectors, from construction to inspection, from environmental to logistic to other applications and sectors. And this technology has been effective in transforming so many operations to be part of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 and to gain the benefit of these technologies. And this solution has led to optimize operation, reduce the cost, enhance the safety, as well as providing more sustainable operations. This technology always complemented by critical enablers such as augmented reality, Internet of Things, as well as cloud and AI. When we take a look into the drone technology landscape and the market size, we will see that the global market size for the commercial drone, here I'm talking about the commercial market drone excluding the military, the market size in 2024 was $16 billion and it will grow to $35 billion in 2030. In Saudi Arabia, in 2024, the market size was $0.5 billion, $500 million, and it is expected to quadruple, راح تدبل 4 مرات by 2040, and this is driven by the fast and growing adoption of this technology in the oil and gas sector, in the construction, especially for major projects for NEOM, Red Sea, Al-Qiddiya, and others. In addition, the technology has a potential value and potential opportunity in the urban mobility applications. No doubt the regulations, the new released GACA regulations that allowed BV loss beyond visual line of sight will help to accelerate the adoption of this technology. When you take a look into this segment, the type of investment that will be in the drone technology, you will see 70% of the investment will be around services, 25% will be captured by hardware, and 5% will be captured by the software, the fleet management and other software. No doubt the drone technology is powering and it is in line with the Vision 2030 in terms of diversifying economy and creating a new opportunity, new economy, which is the low altitude economy, which is a new opportunity for investment. It will create new jobs for pilots, for scientists to operate and to use drones for different applications. Furthermore, this technology will help to create more services and more opportunities. So it will create an ecosystem for the technology, from manufacturing to assembly, from integration to training, from repair and maintenance to operation. Last and not least, this will create a new opportunity for R&D to innovate new technology, to introduce new payloads that would help to optimize operation and enhance the safety. If you take a look into the drone landscape in the energy sector, you'll find that this technology already adopted by many verticals within the energy sector, from exploration to drilling, from refining to distribution, as well as the power system or power grid inspection and operation. In Saudi Arabia, we have 4 major applications for the drone technology. The first one is the inspection, which is the majority, using drone to inspect asset infrastructure, such as the tanks, the flare stacks, elevated structures, the power line, the towers, and other high elevated assets. The second application or vertical is the aerial mapping and 3D modeling. This is another important application that will support mega projects and giga projects. The third application is the environmental and emergency response. This technology enabled many users to assure the quality of the operation, to ensure there is no gas emission, there is no leak within the field operation, also to support in firefighting as well as conducting or performing wildlife and agriculture assessment. Last and not least is the security and safety applications. This technology enabled real-time streaming from the field to the command center, so that decision maker will have the required data in order to take the right decisions. As you can see, in the oil and gas sector, technology has already deployed in so many applications, from inspecting high elevated structures to conducting aerial mapping for the different equipment, for the vessels, for the tank. In addition, special drones are also used to inspect confined spaces, areas that has no GPS coverage. So this type of technology, the cage drone, is a potential enabler to conduct visual thermal inspection for confined spaces, tunnels, and other. In addition, the gas emission sensors are also potential solution for oil and gas, in which it helps the operators to ensure the gas-free emissions, as well as supporting the safety and emergency response. The technology now is evolving from conventional drone that require a pilot to a new type of drone that fly autonomously. These are the drone in a box. It is smart, intelligent, AI-powered, that would perform the required inspection, the required operation without the need for physical pilot at the field. This is for the short-range quadcopter application. For the long range, it is very crucial for long-range applications. The VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, fixed-wing technology, is a technology enabler for wide range of applications, from pipeline monitoring to offshore operation assessment to power line inspection. So this technology helps to monitor field operations that span for long range and wide distances. As you can see, this technology already adopted by many oil and gas companies to conduct visual as well as thermal inspection. So the inspectors doesn't need to go to high elevated area. The drone will be able to fly and to collect high resolution images, thermal images, so that inspector will validate and ensure the integrity and the quality of the asset. Currently, it is done using, or the analysis is performed by inspectors. In the near future, we will see AI is doing this kind of anomaly detection, as well as reporting any defects within the assets. This is another application where we utilize a drone to send live video streaming from the field to the command center. This is a drill. This is not a real fire. This is a drill. However, we use drone to show the capability of sending live video stream to the command center to have more effective decision making and analysis of the incident. Another application, as I mentioned, is the gas emission. There are a lot of payloads or sensors that can be integrated with the drone to assess the quality of the air and to ensure there is no gas emission. Different type of payloads, from conventional multi-gas sniffer to advanced laser scanner or TD-LAS, tunable laser absorption technology, all the way to the OGI, optical gas imaging payload and sensors. Another key application is using drone to support in firefighting activities. These type of drones are equipped either with a dry powder extinguisher that will help the firemen to fly the drone and have a more effective combat and containment for the fire, especially at high-rise buildings. The second type is a drone with a hose or tethered using hose mooring system that will enable the drone to discharge foam or water to the source of the fire. The application also is, or the drone is also used for construction, for projects. So this technology is very effective in terms of inspecting the condition and the progress of the projects. So project manager can see exactly the status of his construction. Also, the engineers can analyze and can assess the different parameters of the construction site, whether it's volumetric analysis or distance analysis. This is another view of using drone to provide a 360 aerial view for the site, which gives, as I mentioned before, a quick snapshot and overview for the project status. Another application is using drone for plantation. استخدام الدرون للزراعة. So a special seed ball is installed, or multiple hundreds of seed balls are installed in the drone compartment, and the drone will precisely drop these seed balls at the right location in order to support the germination of these seed balls. There are several applications, from inspection to agriculture, from delivery to inspection. Again, this technology is enabling end users to optimize operation, enhance the safety, and reduce the cost. Another type of application is the fixed wing, the long-range drone that can cover wider area and longer distances. And this is very crucial, as I mentioned before, for the pipelines, for the power lines, and for offshore operations. Due to the time constraint, I will speed up a little bit. This is the future outlook of drone technology in Saudi. We'll have 3 layers. The first layer is the drone services, or the drone operation, in which drone will be used to provide environmental support, safety, security, inspection, emergency response, or construction support. So this is the first layer, which will enable end user to collect data. The second layer will be the connectivity, the cloud, and the AI, in which data will be transmitted to the cloud in order to do the required analysis, to perform AI analytics to predict and to analyze data and report findings. Last and not least is the visualization and the access and reporting layer, in which the end user will be able to access his data that has been captured by the cloud and analyzed by AI algorithm. So in short, there is no doubt the drone technology is a potential technology enabler. It covers and it will help so many sectors to thrive and to transform. This technology keeps expanding. We are seeing more advanced technologies, more advanced drones, AI-enabled and fully autonomous drone platforms. And this is an opportunity to innovate. This technology will help R&D to introduce new capability, new sensors that will address field challenges and meet the end user needs. Last and not least, it is very important to have collaboration between end user, technology developer, service provider, academia, as well as regulator to accelerate the adoption and deployment of this technology. With this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very, well, enlightening for me, because I know nothing about drones, but I know there's 2 billion in the market by 2030. That's fantastic. Thank you. We are going to be calling on the next panel, well, actually the last panel of the day. It is the Saudi drone market overview and perspectives. And again, we're going to be looking a bit deeper dive into certain aspects that was developed in the case study. We're just getting the chairs on stage, and we will be starting in a few minutes. Could I ask the speakers that are taking part in the panel to please come up on stage? If we could have each of you sitting in the chair next to your seat. And we will be starting in a couple of minutes. Thank you very much.
Push the dog.
Mr. Al-Thadi, are you in the right spot? Yeah? Okay. I need to move one down, yeah. Can you each move one down? Sorry. Don't worry. I can move there. Sorry.
Great. Check 1, 2. Hey. I see you.
Some people aren't turning up. I had one panel. The first panel of the day was only 2 out of 4.
Oh.
But you know, a lot of people are doing business at the show, so
yeah.
Somebody's saying I want to spend $1 million real. You're going to go, hang on, I'm just going to go and talk for 15 minutes. I'll see you later. It doesn't work. That's funny. Okay, I tell you what. Why don't we all move up one and we'll put the late guy at the end.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, he's on the end now. We're going to start? Yes. And then we can see. Okay, and welcome to the last panel of the day. We're waiting for one speaker to join us. He will be here in a few minutes, but I'm going to start because I know we are running behind schedule and our other speakers are keen to get started, huh? Okay. What I'm going to ask you to do, just to start the session, is if you could just tell me who you are, where you're from and what you do. And what's happening, you know, with drones in your life. Okay, so we'll start with you.
All right, we'll start with me. Hi, everybody. My name is Abdelhadi Azzouz, and I'm the founder and CEO of AZ Aerials. And we do filming. We offer filming services here in Saudi Arabia. We've also done work in the UK and Dubai. And we've been working on this for about the last 4 years, and have gotten really a lot of notoriety in the last 2 years with working with Red Sea Global and Rolls-Royce and a lot of our other companies. We also offer things like live broadcasting for big events like Formula One and Formula E, all utilizing drones, of course. So this has been something that has been kind of an explosion in the market recently, but we've been able to handle it very well, I think, with bringing in a lot of new equipment and a lot of great stuff into the market and being able to provide that service to our clients.
Thank you. Captain Tariq, if...
My name is Tariq Nasruddin. I'm the founder and CEO of Furnas Aero.
Sorry, Captain, could you talk quite close to the microphone?
We provide services using drone-in-a-box systems. We're a manufacturer and a service provider. We are based here in Riyadh. We have been in operations for about almost 7 years now. And we focus mainly on enterprise and government sector in inspection, surveillance, and also most recently drone delivery.
Mr. Abdullah.
السلام عليكم جميعا. سعد الله مساكم. اخوكم عبد الله الخالدي. Working with Zain in the B2B domain, where I'm responsible working with the team to develop and manage Zain's B2B portfolio. We're responsible in developing the portfolio, capitalizing on the robust infrastructure that we're having, in addition to the cloud capability, along with an ecosystem of partnerships.
Thank you. And right at the end, thank you for joining us. If you could just tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, and introduce.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Abdurrahman Al-Sbai'i. I am founding and general manager of Rising Star, the first drone show company in Saudi Arabia. Also, I am co-founder in New Rise, also a drones company in Saudi Arabia specialized for business.
Thank you very much. Can we start with you and just, if you could just kick off the conversation about the current drivers of growth in the Saudi market. I mean, as a general manager, can you hear me? The current drivers of growth in the drone market in Saudi Arabia, where are you seeing the growth coming from?
I cannot hear you from this machine. Speaker. Can you again please repeat? We cannot hear from this area. Sorry.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you tell us a bit about the drivers of growth in the Saudi market? Where are you seeing the business coming from in terms of growth on adoption of drones?
Drones market in Saudi Arabia is growing up now. When we start 5 years ago or 4 years ago, in the holograph show, it was slowly and with a lot of, let's say, trouble with the payment, with the, let's say, about the regulation. Now, with all the support from GACA and the government, I think we're going fast with the drone opportunities and chance and solution, from entertainment to solution. For example, years ago, they used the drones for inspection, survey. Now we are coming with a different solution, especially with AI, especially with the new tech. So I think next year it will be different, and we will, at least we will have a new technology, especially with the AI now.
Mr. Al-Khaldi, can you add to that? I mean, what are you, from your perspective, where are you seeing business coming from in the growth market in Saudi? Have you got a perspective on that?
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for providing a chance to elaborate further on that. The situation, I see it from my perspective, the growth is coming from, let me do it, a reverse engineering. Every organization, whether it is a public sector or a private sector, is looking after customer satisfaction to enhance the scoring of their customer satisfaction level. So whatever technology is not about deploying or using that technology, it's about what need can fulfill and how it can be used. How can it enhance my profitability, cost optimization, or others. The example mentioned by my colleague Sperry is about the inspection related. If you imagine utilizing a drone and doing an inspection as mentioned in the previous presentation for oil and gas industry, from cost perspective, in comparison to utilizing a drone for that, there's a huge saving that can be taken off shoulders of the organization. So this is one part. Customer satisfaction that requires quality, efficiency in doing the operations, and as well doing the job fast. This is another aspect. At the end of the day, it will please the shareholders of the organizations.
So do you think that, you know, in terms of growth, and you just talked about, you know, users, or I mean, using drones, are we looking at drones being used like during working hours, 9 to 5, or is this like a 24-hour cycle? I mean, what are you seeing in terms of the usage during that growth?
I mean, the drone used the example of the oil and gas as one of example. But if you look to the construction, for example, even in operating cities that has skyscrapers, doing the cleaning of the skyscrapers in comparison to doing the conventional or the traditional way of doing it. It enhances safety, security, and in addition, there are government applications in border protections, for example. imagine an example I think mentioned by the pipeline. I'll go back to the oil and gas. If we look to Aramco as per my last update, where Aramco has more than 26K kilometers of piping. Imagine that you need to do a preventive maintenance for that. But even there are other applications beyond oil and gas. Towers of high voltage grid, for example. This is another aspect. Let us look to agriculture applications as well to assure food security as well. This is another aspect. So let's look to drone as more of a technology. Technology itself is not enough. You need to build an ecosystem around it, from regulation perspective, from integrating it with other technologies to outperform. Because a drone, at the end of the day, if you're using it for surveillance, it is just to providing, it is a data point. You can consider it a sensor. If you don't process it well, then I think there is no use of it if you don't do the right data analytics and turn it to business and intelligence as well.
Thank you. Mr. Azouz, again, you know, from your perspective, where are you seeing this growth coming from? Yeah, you, please.
So we kind of have a unique perspective, right? So along with what's going on in the kingdom, we have a lot of things happening today with... Is that better? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so we have a unique perspective in the kingdom because we don't really deal with oil and gas. We don't really deal with drone light shows. I've come from that background where we've done all those things, and now we're in media. And Saudi Arabia has grown year after year for media, and I think everybody knows. Everybody's trying to push for that Vision 2030. Saudi Arabia is really focused on bringing people into the kingdom, and all of that is done through marketing, right? So with marketing, this has unveiled a huge potential for business when it comes to media. And a lot of media is done by drones, obviously. So if you've been through the airport in Riyadh and seen, you know, commercials, the ayat for Global Red Sea, or come visit Al-Ula, or Discover Asir, we had a campaign with them. You'll see a lot of our drone work there, and it's just blown up over the couple of years because of all the push for the marketing to come into Saudi Arabia and everybody wanting to come and visit Saudi. So we've worked a lot with the Saudi Tourism Authority. We've worked a lot with a lot of the General Authority for Entertainment in bringing in this type of marketing that then just helps people come in and recognize and tell the story of Saudi Arabia. We've also done things like with Discovery Channel and UNESCO, where we've shown a lot of Saudi Arabia's historical side. So when it comes to Al-Ula and the artifacts and all of that rich history that Saudi Arabia has to offer that the world never knew about, we're able to convey that in a way with drones and filming and marketing that we have not done before. And the growth year over year, I mean, I can give you numbers, but you know, thank God it's been doubling year over year. And that is in terms of revenue, that's in terms of sales, that's in terms of client growth, right? Because now that it's being utilized more, we're getting a lot more clients come in and inquire about it. There's a lot more awareness to use this type of tool when it comes to the marketing campaign for these companies.
So, Captain Tariq, you've heard about the marketing aspect of drones and the growth in that, and we've talked about the industrial growth in drones. How's the regulatory environment moderating the growth or aiding, enabling the growth of drones?
Yeah, you ask a very interesting point. So the regulation has evolved in the past couple of years quite rapidly, because the mandate now is much more clear and they need to pick up the pace, if I may say, in order to be able to achieve these goals. For instance, this past quarter, around May, they updated the regulation, and now we have a category B, which is like drones from, before it was like from 1 kilogram to 25. Now we have the category B, which is from 25 kilograms to 150. This enables larger drones to come into different segments. And as you can see here in the expo, there's a lot of people that have larger drones that are used for search and rescue, for logistics, for drone delivery. One of the use cases that we are focusing on is in drone delivery. Obviously, today we had a couple of signings with Jahiz and with Zain and IoT Squared. All of them are focused more on the logistics and delivery aspect. So the regulators are eager to update and expedite the adoption of the new technology. That's from our perspective.
I'm going to stay with you, Captain, and say, in terms of challenges and drone startups and manufacturing of the drones, what do you have from your perspective, where do you see these challenges? I mean, we're talking about growth. Let's talk about challenges to growth.
So there is two parts. There is the human capital aspect. This is why for us at Furnas Aero we collaborated with the Aviation Technical College here in Riyadh, and we are sponsoring a class of students. So by the time they graduate, we will have some synergy with them so they can come and work for us. So that's like an investment in the future generation. It's like a 3-year investment in the future. Because one of the problems that we had before is there are some vacancies, but just having an aerospace degree or an engineering degree is not going to cut it, because you need to be like very specialized in specific areas. So that's on the human aspect part. The other part is the enablement from different ministries, whether it's the Ministry of Finance or Investment or, industry, in terms of getting the right components in order to be able to... Manufacturing is a big word. So it's more of assembly, and then you build up the capacity and capability as you go until you reach that manufacturing status.
Mr. El-Subai, from your perspective, what challenges are you seeing to growth in terms of growth? I mean, we've heard about human capacities. We've heard about the local, localizing the manufacturing, the spare parts. What's your experience on that?
Now, yeah, okay. Some it's challenge and some it's fact. For example, the regulation, because it is a new tech, and when the new tech is coming, there is a lot of benefit, and in the same side, it is not, let's say, unknown for a lot of people about how you use this tech. For example, when we start talking about the drones, it's coming to your mind, it is drone without pilot, but some people looking at is unsafety. Also, a lot of company offer a lot of benefit for drones. For example, they told about this drone deliver this and this and this. But comparing with the high-tech company, it's not, it cannot be doable or cannot be also delivered. So this is part of the challenge. When some drones, and especially for me in a drone show, when some drone show company do a mistake in some place, it's affect us. So that's why we are comfortable with the new regulation, because we know after a while it will be help us to make a good service and also to be safe. Because before the drones business, the first question every time from the government and regulation, safety. So I think the big challenge it is, let's say, manufacturing and R&D. If the R&D it's completely good, you will get a good service and you will get a safe drone.
Thank you. If you could pass the microphone to Mr. Al-Khaldi, because I'm going to ask him a very similar question, but I want to know how you're going to solve these challenges, or, you know, that there are the challenges, how can they be solved, and who do you need to help you solve those challenges?
Well, I see it from a perspective. Let me stand in different positions so that maybe every position we can analyze, we see how we can overcome whatever challenges. For example, from regulation perspective. If and at the same time there is an ambitious to grow the drone business in the kingdom. On the other side, Vision 2030 is have a lot of giga projects where they can be a real pilot of deploying drone business. But to be enabled that, it is all interconnected. So if we look to regulation, if we do have a sandbox environment to restrict or limit the scope for any innovations or any new applications to enhance the maturity of the market till it proves maturity, then to be going to a bigger scale. This is one aspect of the, I would say, from regulation standpoint of view. On the other side, we would like to have foreign investors to the Saudi market. This would need maybe in automation activities related to compliance and licenses. Maybe there is a need to have a risk-based level in terms of compliance. It depends on the applications. Utilizing new Gidea and others for new application deployments because of the population capacity and has less, I would say, security related. That is, of course, subject to the related stakeholders from government aspects. So those type of having an innovative environment for the drone to be grown the business, in addition to have an advanced security capability would lead to, I think, grow the drone market that is anticipated to be 2 billion in the previous presentation by 2030. Having a solution-based type of applications or based on sectors, construction, and building integrating all the related technology solutions around it from solutions and from regulation and compliance activities as well. So it's an ecosystem per sector, I would say, to be looked at, to be zoomed in so that it can be, I think, we can overcome whatever challenges, whether it is related to manufacturing, spare parts, maturity, or any other challenges.
Thank you. Mr. Azouz, from a marketing perspective, where do you see future development and how else? I mean, you've given us some examples of the tourism industry and, you know, visual. Where else in the marketing industry could we see business opportunities in the future, do you think?
Yeah, sure. So not just those agencies in marketing. There's a huge need for this kind of stuff. So we've done things with like St. Regis Hotel. We've done them with a couple of other hotels and car brands like Rolls-Royce, where we've utilized drones to go in and showcase those vehicles or showcase those hotels in a whole different type of light and perspective. We do something called a drone tour, and that's done purely by a drone that flies through the entire space. Sometimes there's talent, sometimes there's actors and stuff involved in that, but it's completely drone-based. It's one drone flying through a full sequence. We call them one-shots, and then they use these to do attractive videos on Instagram and a lot of the social media. So this is one way that we're utilizing using pure drone. And then we do a mixture of things. We will go into like Rolls-Royce and we'll film a car. We'll go into their showroom and do like a showroom shoot with them, and it'll all be pure drone based. So a lot of these companies now are utilizing these tools and this marketing tactic to then go and implement them in their social media, which we work closely with different social media teams and marketing teams through the corporate level. Sometimes we provide them a full solution where we will go in, film, do the coloring, the editing, and everything like that. Or we will provide them just video, and then they will go in and utilize that video with maybe something within their library of footage that then they can go and utilize that in marketing. I'll tell you, we've had some great results, especially this year. We just received an email from corporate in Rolls-Royce saying that their marketing for Saudi Arabia has now, I think, doubled over the year past, and what are you doing differently? And it's really been using this new type of solution to go there and give them some unique perspectives on videos, because people are asking, how are you getting these shots? You know, how are you going through the window of the door and going into a hotel room or diving down a skyscraper and finding the car? And you can't do that without drones, you know, and it gives a new perspective to the viewer that they're able to consume that data and that video within 15 to 20 seconds, because that's all you got. And drones give you that initial hook when it comes to marketing and Instagram, because I don't care whether you like it or not, but social media is where all marketing happens. So,
just an interesting example. I'm an events person, and they've started using drones at big events now to feedback in real time where there's crowded areas and where they're not crowded areas. So if you want to get to the burger stand, it'll tell you on an app which is the best burger stand to go to without a queue. So there's lots of different user cases in the leisure industry as well. But if, Captain Tarek, if we go back to you, I mean, where do you see kind of untapped spaces for drone growth in Saudi Arabia? Is there any examples do come to mind?
Interesting point. So obviously this industry is quite in its infancy. So there's a lot of opportunities in different sectors. But from our perspective, one of the sectors that are slowly starting to open up is logistics. And logistics is going to be the requirement or prerequisites for us to reach urban air mobility or air taxi, as everybody calls it. Because if you can show that you have a sustainable and reliable technology that can move things around over and over and over again, then you have a good safety record, and now you can start moving people and expanding into like small ports, like bus stations inside the city. So logistics is definitely one of the untapped market. One of also the reasons for this is because of the congestion here in Riyadh. Obviously, everybody suffers from the traffic here. And like many cities in the world, there is very little you can do in terms of just going into 2D space. So now once you start tapping into the low altitude economy, as they call it, then you will have the ability to remove all these motorcycles or delivery trucks or cars that are causing all of this congestion. Because obviously e-commerce and delivery is not slowing down. It's expanding at a very rapid pace. And being able to keep up with that is one of the key things that a lot of industry makers are thinking about in order to be able to have a smart city, I use air quotes here, in the near future. So I think logistics is one of the segments that we are focusing on. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Al-Khaldi, you mentioned earlier about the ecosystem needing to be developed. It was quite young. What areas in particular, so let's pick two areas, would you like to see more development in?
First of all, Morgan, I'm not a native English speaker, so if you can speak slowly, it would be very helpful.
Sorry.
So you're talking about the ecosystem, right? If I got your...
So in the ecosystem itself, what areas do you feel that need more development to catch up with the other areas?
Yeah, okay. The point is drone business to be move to the next level, I think it would need a robust infrastructure, digital infrastructure. Talking about Saudi Arabia has invested a lot and has a very strong 5G connectivity infrastructure. Zain used to be one of the pioneering and is continuing to be the pioneering in terms of deployment around the kingdom. For 5G, 5G provides high speed, low latency, and high capacity as well in transferring and streamlining data. So this is one of the things that I think there is an advancement in it for the 5G. More to come, introducing the slicing concept for the 5G to assure, the optimum SLA in connectivity. Other thing is, I think, where it's an area that requires to be, there is a huge potential in it, which is the data analytics platforms. This is one of the areas. The kingdom has a lot of initiatives in constructing data centers around the kingdom, and there are huge data centers that can accommodate whatever data is needed to be processed coming from the drone domain, I would say. So data processing, data analytics platforms, I think one of a very potential opportunities to be captured in the near future.
Thank you. And last question of the panel. Mr. Al-Sabai, if I was going to thinking about investing in a drone business, any part of the ecosystem, if I was thinking about investing in the drone business in any part of the ecosystem, what advice would you give to me? What would you tell me or advise me to do?
Actually, when we want to use ecosystem with the drone, this is your questions, right?
I beg your pardon, say that again.
This is good questions, all, but I will focus in, if I have to choose, let's say aggregation, environment, and also cleaning, and also, let's say collection data with the AI system. When I start this business, I thought I will stop with the holograph. But now I'm hungry for another service, but I will focus on aggregation and cleaning, maybe collection data with the AI.
Thank you very much. We're going to draw the panel to a close, and I'd like everybody to please thank our experts. Round of applause, please. And if I could ask our experts to please line up on the stage at the front, we'll do a photograph. Thank you.